Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser. I'm here today to welcome you to enter the Poserverse. I'm wearing the same clothes that I did yesterday, which means, I'm batch recording on Sunday night because everybody else is asleep. But guess what? It's on the horizon. Our holiest of high holy days, we just have to survive until Wednesday. So to find out what books I'm picking up on this week's new comic book day, Wednesday, January 19th of the year of our Lord, 2022, you'll have to check it out after this.
Hey, little girl. Did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Don't forget, we've got Shop Talk happening this Thursday night at 9:30 Central. Maybe we'll go a little earlier. I don't know, we'll see. I'm getting tired because I'm old. Who knows? Here we go. From Aftershock, we've got Almost American number 4. I've been enjoying this series that is about two Russians who have defected to the United States that are trying to find their new life while they're still being haunted by the past. I think this is the one that's based on a true story. The art has been good. The end part of each book has been compelling enough to kind of keep you hooked, that they're doing a good job of kind of setting the hook and getting you ready for the next issue. That this is a nice read. Next from Marvel, this is the first of I think 2 Spider-Man books that I'm picking up this week, maybe 3. I can't remember, so we'll find out in a second. I think there's a Miles that's coming out this week, so at least 2. But I really enjoyed everything that's been going on in this arc. Last week's chapter, we got a good battle between Ben Reilly and Doc Ock. Maybe we find out that Doc Ock might not be as bad as he is in traditional arcs, that he is feeding some information to Ben Reilly, maybe about how, nefarious that the Beyond Corporation may be, and that he might be a puppet. And that's why he's selected. But I'm enjoying everybody who's written these books, the different artists that have been on, that I feel like for as many different hands that are currently tending to this current Spider-Man run, it still feels like it sings by 1 or 2 people on it. Next up from Image Comics is Aerosmith Behind Enemy Lines number 1. This is a continuation of a past series. I'm picking it up because I like what I've seen from Busiek and Carlos Pacheco in terms of the art and the stories of theirs that I can remember. The problem that I might run into with this is lack of familiarity with the previous Aerosmith series. So we'll see what I think about number 1, and maybe I go doing some digging, online or in some long boxes to see if I can find whatever preceded this. Next from Marvel is Avengers number 52. I have not really been super into what has happened after the end of the Phoenix saga. That the World War She-Hulk stuff was interesting. The book 51, that kind of set up this Death Hunters new arc, I wasn't super into, so we'll see if this does what it needs to get me excited about reading the Avengers, or it might fall off the pull list again. Spider-Man book number 2 of the week is Ben Reilly, Spider-Man number 1. This is, you can see that I'm excited because I'm trying to get the A cover in the Scotty Young variant. I'm picking this up because I'm enjoying what's going on in the current Spider-Man arc. I wonder what relation, if anything, will be connected, or if this is just going to kind of be its own Elseworld Spider-Man tale. But at this point, when I originally was only very excited about reading Symbiote Spider-Man, right now I'm excited to check out anything that has Spider-Man's name on it, because the creative team is, hitting a home run with Marvel's, star property. Next up from DC is Blue and Gold number 5. This is, I think, 5 of 6. To be honest, I don't know if I ever got issue 4 or read it. So I picked it up on Saturday over the weekend at the same shop where I got this lovely Mockingbird first appearance. So my goal is to read it and refresh my memory, hopefully. before we check this puppy out on Wednesday, because I've been enjoying this series that it feels like, you know, good classic Booster Gold to me, because Dan Jurgens writes a good Booster Gold, and it's Dan Jurgens on Booster Gold being Dan Jurgens on Booster Gold. Next up from Image is Bolero #1. This is going to be some kind of, you know, multiverse kind of story where somebody can, you know, hop into parallel universes. I was sold at the idea of this being a series from two bright-eyed and bushy-tailed little scamps. But this feels like in the direction of the kind of sci-fi-ish kind of things that I'm into right now. So we'll see, you know, how I feel about it by Thursday night. We get back-to-back books that I'm real high on from Mad Cave Studios. Their only release of the week is Bountiful Garden #5. This is the end of the arc, which that excites me because that hopefully means we're getting a second arc of Bountiful Garden that I can go back and check my email and see if I missed an announcement of that, but hopefully that means we're getting a second arc of this, that I've enjoyed this story about, you know, the kids trying to establish life on a potential new planet that they are stranded above because they were woken out of nowhere on their mission, you know, to the planet where their parents are at. Second book is Crimson Cage #2 from AWA. Again, I really enjoyed issue #1 of this, that we're getting, you know, a very spooky wrestling tale. Here we get the connection that it's a retelling of Macbeth through pro wrestling. And
what are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught that man may question?
I don't know if I missed that from the first solicit, or if I'm just that bad at knowing my Shakespeare, which that's probably definitely true. But I'm definitely down to share issue #1 and then probably #2 with my English teachers in the building to go, hey, you got kids that like wrestling but hate Shakespeare? I know you teach them Macbeth. Here we go. But I really enjoyed issue #1 with kind of the Spectre keeping Chuck Frenzy's hopes and dreams alive. And now that we're starting to see a taste for vengeance from him, I'm excited. Next book from Boom Studios is Cursed Pirate Girl, The Devil's Grave #1. This is a series that I hadn't read or heard of the original source material until I got like 5 or 6 pages of this emailed to me from Boom Studios, and the art in this is just absolutely fantastic. You should check out the link to my preview in the description below. That I'm just intrigued by this series and ready to check out past iterations of the Cursed Pirate Girl story. So we get Marvel event tie-ins, we get Death of Doctor Strange, X-Men, and Black Knight. I've liked this. I still have to read the Bloodstone book from last week, but I know it was hot. And I tried to get a second copy of it just in case and couldn't find one. And then we got 2 Devil's Reign tie-ins with Villains for Hire and X-Men. I'm excited for both of these because, again, I'm enjoying both of these events at the moment. Next up from Aftershock is Heathens #3. This is the new, like, old Wild West's resetting and retelling of the tale of Jack the Ripper, but it's not that, you know, you've learned that these people can kind of dimensionally hop and they are chasing Jack the Ripper. Book 2 was absolutely insane in terms of how quickly the life of our main character got turned upside down, and the notion of these villains working together maybe slowly fizzling apart. So I want to see if the team can come back together again. Next for Marvel, we get Hulk #3. I'm a homer for Donny Cates now. These Donny Cates have absolutely killed the first 2 issues of this, made me intrigued by the Hulk, and I can't wait to see what happens in issue #3, now that somebody else may know that the Hulk might be weaponized by asshole Bruce Banner instead of the Hulk being something that Banner has no control over.
Go ahead, asshole.
Es ya propiedad del gobierno.
Me está enojando. No le gustaría verme enojado.
Next up from Vault Comics is The Last Book You'll Ever Read, number 5. This book keeps finding a way to ratchet up the intensity as the book is continuing to change the world, as Olivia and Connor are still trying to find ways to escape the world that she has been describing. Like, this story is probably one of the most compelling to me now, only because any prediction that I've had thus far has been wrong. And I like that it keeps me guessing and doesn't frustrate me that I'm way wrong with my guesses. That it's a very, very good. You should check out the first 4 of these if you have not done so yet.
Boom! Murder! Ha! Ah!
Can I get the knife now? Is that cool? When are we gonna fight with the knife?
Another book that I'm absolutely in love with is Maw from Boom Studios. I believe this is the final issue where we see Marion becoming the vessel for the rage and suffering of the women who have been wronged at this commune. We have a lot of theories as to what we think might happen in this book that we've talked about every single issue multiple times on Shop Talk. And when issue 4 came out, we realized that Jude Elson S. Doyle, the author of this series, has been writing about each issue on their blog after it's come out to kind of explain some of the creative process and some of the pain that has come through creating these. So I can't wait to see if everything neatly gets wrapped up in issue number 5 or if we get some kind of to be continued. Because remember, the declaration at the end of book number 4 was all men must die. So we'll see if that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy or somebody can play a foil to the goals of the commune. Next up is Miles Morales Spider-Man, number 34. I don't know a whole lot about what's going on in this arc that I just jumped in around issue 32 or 33, but people have been telling me that I should get into it. We saw a meeting of Ben Reilly and Miles Morales in a previous issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and we get a connection of this with back to the ASM arc with something that's going on with the Assessor. So I can't wait to see how these keep getting threaded together. Also for Marvel, we've got Moon Knight number 7. Again, I've had zero complaints about this arc, that it keeps finding new ways to keep me excited about the story, wanting to go back and learn more things about Mark Spector, and I've actually been reading some of the older issues of Moon Knight that are up on Marvel Unlimited, and when I have some extra cash to not, spend on some of the books that are on my hunt list, I'm going to try and be finding some cheaper physical copies or some cheaper trades of Moon Knight books, because these are books that I want to own. That this, again, is a character that I'm really enjoying. Next up from Aftershock is My Date with Monsters number 3. To be honest, I think unless this book really hooks me, this might be the last issue of this that I pick up. That issue number 1 was very compelling to me. Issue number 2 was just kind of, it was, didn't set the hooks in me as well as the first one did, so we'll see what happens in this issue. Our second AWA book of the week is Out number 4. Again, this is World War II, Nazis, vampires, fight, murder, macabre, spooky things. I've enjoyed this series. I think this is a 6-issue series, so we're hitting the towards the end of the tunnel of this one. We've also talked about this book incessantly on Shop Talk and have loved it as well. Next up from Image Comics is Primordial number 5. Again, I'm repetitive with the last book. Another Shop Talk book that we love. We have a couple of theories of what's been going on. So now that we know that there are some waves through time with the animals who are in space. Now that we know the fate of our two scientists back dirt side, we'll see the fate of those two characters and see if we get a connection of the two again. Next from Boom Studios is Regarding the Matter of Oswald's Body, number 3. Like I said, with this series, issue number 1 to me was meh. Issue number 2 got me hooked. So I'm excited to see what this kind of screw-up team of misfits working together in this bigger conspiracy setting have going down. That I still think if this book had come out separately from, when Department of Truth is playing in the realm of conspiracies and playing so heavily with Lee Harvey Oswald, that I think I would look at this from a different lens, but I'm just stuck talking about the two of them in a vacuum, and I can't find a way to disassociate them. And I think that's unfair to the creative team of this book. From Vault, The Rush, number 3. 1 and 2, crazy. Nettie Bridger's figuring out more about the fate of her son, and someone's helping her with some of the spooky things that are around it. This book is creepy, it's good, the art is fantastic. So if you want a good old-timey spooky book, you should get on this one. Next from Boom is Seven Secrets number 13. Is this the beginning of the 3rd arc? I can't remember. But I feel like I need to go back and reread the end, books 11 and 12 to kind of get back in on this one. That this has been one of those series that there have been times where I've been very into it. There have been times where I've been like, this doesn't connect to me, so let's see if Seven Secrets can get me hooked again from go. From Valiant, we get Shadow Man number 5. Again, Cullen Bunn has been doing a great job on this character, getting me back into one of the classic characters. I love that a lot of the old Valiant books have like that old style, like 92, 93, like Shadow Man ad on the back. Very good. Pair of number 1s from Marvel. She-Hulk number 1. First She-Hulk standalone series in a while that's not like Savage or Immortal or Spooky. And Silk number 1. This is the 2nd arc. I really enjoyed the previous one. I don't know if it's written by the same writer as the arc that just wrapped up or not, but I'm excited. Silver Coin number 8. I don't know who the author is on this one, but the Walsh, the artist, stays the same. The author changes from book to book. They've all been exciting and spooky. We get Silver Surfer Rebirth number 1. You can see that I'm excited to pick up a couple of that cover, or covers of that book. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 125. This was on my pull list at my other shop. I've been very behind in reading it, but the Punk Frogs show up. So I want to see a throwdown between the Punk Frogs and the Ninja Turtles. Especially since this says this is the beginning of a new era of TMNT. Challenge accepted. Venom number 4. I'm excited by this. I spec'd a little bit after the final 2 panels in Venom number 3 that I think we technically got the first cameo appearance of the suit of who's going to be the villain, or however people will talk about it. So we'll see if this individual shows up in a significant way. I again have been enjoying the series. Everything that I've said about Donny Cates on Hulk is how I feel about Al Ewing and Ram V on Venom right now. We only find them when they're dead. I feel like it's been maybe 2 months since the last one of these have come out. I don't remember much of it. I don't know why I'm still buying it. The art is dope. I still think this is one of the most beautiful books that's coming out on a monthly basis. And then our final pull list book of the week from Marvel Comics is the X Lives, the 10 Lives. We'll have that debate just like people did with House of X and Powers of 10, or is it House of 10 and Powers of X? But I'm excited. I'm still behind on other elements of my X-Men since there are 6.9 billion books coming out a month, but I'm definitely reading this week and focusing on this Wolverine title in a vacuum.
Bub. The X-Men do, Bub. Bub. Okay, Bub. Drop it, Bub. Bub. Thanks for the lift, Bub. The only only place you're going is down, bub.
The last thing that we'll do is check in with the fine folks over at Discout Comics. They've got one book coming out this week from the Black Caravan imprint. We've got Swamp Dogs number 2. I read number 1 when the Ash Can came out, and this looked like like if you liked creepy 80s campy horror films, that you're going to be in on this kind of book. I need to reread issue number 1, but I think I've got 1 and 2 in the Scout box that's sitting like a foot and a half from me that I haven't read yet or opened yet, but I'm going to do to check this out. What do you think? Is there anything that's not on my list that I should try and pick up at one of the shops that I go to on Wednesday? Is there anything that's on my list that you're like, nah, just get rid of it? As always, let me know in the comments down below, or if you're not, let me know in the chat over here. But as always, y'all, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.